The nebula station was a gleaming spire of advanced technology suspended in the void. Pulsing with energy fields and adorned with countless luminescent panels, it was the crown jewel of the Trolloc Collective, a convergence point for galactic species. The station housed the most advanced medical facilities known to sentient life. Yet, when the latest emergency arrived, even their finest tech faltered. In the triage bay, a towering reptilian Drellith groaned on a levitating stretcher, its emerald-scaled chest marred by a jagged wound that pulsed with faint, eerie light. The attending Trolloc doctors, beings of semi-translucent crystalline structures, hummed in synchronized concern. Their specialized nanobots had failed to halt the toxin spreading from the wound. Dr. Tarun, the chief medical overseer, adjusted his prism-like body to better analyze the data. The toxin's molecular structure defies our nanoprobes. Without intervention, systemic failure is inevitable within one rotation. His voice reverberated like a chorus in the sterile air. "A shame," muttered one of the junior physicians. "A warrior-class Drellith is a rare patient indeed." Amid the urgency, a new figure entered the bay, a human, clad in practical, weathered gear, with a tool belt slung low around his waist. He drew glances from the staff. His name was Marcus Hale, a civilian contractor assigned to maintenance duties on Nebula Station. To the Trolloc, humans were a peculiar anomaly, primitive yet ingenious, fragile yet stubbornly resilient. Hale surveyed the scene with a sharp gaze. "Looks like you've got a problem," he said, nodding toward the writhing Drellith. Dr. Tarun's crystalline face refracted light in what could only be interpreted as irritation. "This matter requires advanced medical expertise, not rudimentary tools." Hale smirked and pulled a compact roll of duct tape from his belt. "Sometimes, rudimentary is all you need." The medbay's atmosphere buzzed with skepticism as Hale approached the patient. The Drellith's golden eyes locked onto him, a mix of pain and distrust. "Relax, big guy," Hale muttered. "I'm not here to hurt you." "Well, not more than necessary." The Trollith's advanced scanners projected a detailed hologram of the wound, showing tendrils of toxin spreading through the Drellith's system. Hale studied it for a moment before reaching into his bag. "What are you planning?" Dr. Tarun asked, his tone sharp. "First, I'm going to clean the wound," Hale replied. He pulled out a small bottle of hydrogen peroxide, a relic by Trolloc standards. "Then I'll remove the toxin and patch him up." The doctors exchanged skeptical glances. "Our nanoprobes failed to neutralize the toxin. What makes you think your primitive methods will succeed?" Hale grinned. "Because sometimes it's not about fighting the toxin head-on. It's about outsmarting it." Hale worked quickly, his hands steady and precise. Using a scalpel, simple but razor-sharp, he carefully excised the corrupted tissue. He ignored the murmured disapproval of the Trolloc physicians and focused on the task at hand. The Drellith growled softly but remained still, either out of respect or resignation. Once the affected area was clear, Hale reached for a syringe filled with a greenish liquid. "This is an old Earth remedy," he explained. "Activated charcoal and saline. It'll bind to the toxin and stop it from spreading." Dr. Tarun's crystalline form flickered with what could only be described as incredulity. "Charcoal? Absurd." Hale injected the mixture near the wound, watching closely as the faint glow of the toxin began to dim. "Absurd works," he said, wiping his brow. "Now for the patch-up." He rummaged through his kit and retrieved a sterile needle and thread. As he began stitching the wound, the Trolloc observed in stunned silence. Their advanced tech could synthesize new tissue, but the human's manual dexterity and improvisation were captivating. Hours later, the Drellith's condition stabilized. The golden eyes that had once glared with distrust now regarded Hale with a grudging respect. "You saved me," the Drellith rumbled, his voice deep and resonant. Hale shrugged. "Just doing what I can. Try not to get skewered next time." Dr. Tarun approached, his crystalline body glowing faintly. "Your methods were unconventional, yet effective. Perhaps there is merit in simplicity." Hale smirked. "Sometimes Less is more. Advanced tech is great, but it's not always the answer. The medbay's tension eased as the team acknowledged a human success. Hale packed his tools, his mind already on the next challenge. He had proven that ingenuity and resourcefulness could rival even the most sophisticated technologies, a lesson that left a lasting impression on the Trollope Collective. In the days that followed, the story of Hale's intervention spread throughout Nebula Station. The Trollope, known for their arrogance and technological superiority, found themselves reevaluating their approach to problem-solving. Dr. Tarun invited Hale to address a gathering of medics and engineers. The human stood before an audience of shimmering crystalline forms, his rough demeanor a stark contrast to their refined elegance. "You don't need a fancy gadget for every problem," Hale began. "Sometimes it's about understanding the basics. Physics, chemistry, biology. Tools are just extensions of knowledge. Use your brains first, and the tools second." The Trollope hummed in contemplative agreement. It was a moment of rare humility for the advanced species. Sparked by the ingenuity of a primitive, Hale's success not only saved the Drellith, but also forged a new respect between humans and the Trollope. The medics began integrating simpler, human-inspired techniques into their protocols, acknowledging that even the most advanced civilizations could learn from simplicity. As for Hale, he continued his work aboard Nebula Station, earning a reputation as a problem solver who could bridge the gap between advanced tech and primal ingenuity. And in the endless expanse of space, where the unknown lurked around every corner, that combination was invaluable.